Well, hello and welcome to the Snodcast. Got an excellent guest for you on this episode. You may have seen him riding his trike up and down 36th Street, sporting a pair of loafers and a pencil in his hair. I'm talking about the one and only Lou Catelli. We get into his origin story, his Ocean City sabbaticals, and of course, his upcoming race to be the Mayor of Baltimore City. So grab some cold bubbles and prepare to be dazzled by the wise, the charismatic Lou Catelli. Lou, what's going on, my friend?
What's happening? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Looking great.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. You want to tell our listeners where we're sitting right now?
Right now, we're at the front table of the famous 13.5 wine bar in Hampden on 36th Street.
Fantastic.
Overlooking the Hot Wax Studio with lots of smiling ladies coming out.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Great. Yeah, and it's a Friday afternoon. It's looking like we might have some crazy thunderstorms, flash floods here, but I got down here before all that. So
Good Friday, it always rains on Good Friday.
Is that right?
Yeah, always. Just look at the almanac. Every Good Friday it rains.
Okay, I never knew that until now.
I just made that up. But you can still check it out.
Oh, it's the ending. Well, dude, so thank you again for being a part of this. This is episode 3 of the Snodcast. That's the name
Yes.
of my podcast.
That's perfect. I didn't know that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, I got some questions here. We'll just kind of get right into it. Where are you from?
Wow. Okay, so Highlandtown, east side of Baltimore, a little neighborhood called Highlandtown, about 5-10 minutes from the harbor, I guess we'd say. Family moved from Italy to Highlandtown in 1908, and very few people have gone more than 20 minutes away.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a great old neighborhood, east side.
But not that many generations back till you came straight from Italy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. My great-grandfather was 32, and my great-grandmother was 16 when they came this way. Yeah, it's good age difference.
Awesome.
They had 4 kids here, and then everybody had a bunch of 4 kids, and we have a small group of the family moved to Florida, but mostly everyone's within 15 minutes of each other still.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Nice big family.
It is, yeah.
Now, have you been over to Italy yourself at all?
I finally had the opportunity this past year to go to a wedding. So it was this past September, a cousin who lives in America got married over there because we still have family there. They'd been here many, many times. Everybody else has visited back and forth. My first trip over, it was heavenly. It was heavenly. Our family's town is right where the mountain meets the water on the east coast of Italy, the Adriatic coast. And it was the end of their season, and so far as the crowds weren't big, but the weather was still ideal. It was sunny and 75 or 80 every day. And the wedding was held at a vineyard 5 minutes from the beach. And it was just, everyone was there. It just felt like a dream in a dream. It was perfect. It was perfect. We ate and drank everything. And we got to actually walk around the land where my great-grandfather was born. It's still owned by the family. So we got to actually stumble around the grounds where he was probably playing as a kid.
Incredible.
Yeah. And there's fig trees that he probably ate figs from that my parents tried to smuggle clippings back to the United States from the fig tree.
Dude, have you ever had a fresh fig?
Oh, my. Outstanding.
So
yeah. Especially those late summer ones. They're just perfect. Yeah, Settembrini.
Cool. So kind of take me back to when you were growing up in Highlandtown. What are some of your kind of favorite childhood pastimes? What were you getting into as a kid?
It was a lot of playing on like the blacktop with a soccer ball and just goofing around, not using goals. We just play around on the blacktop and have a pole kind of like into the blacktop, and that would be the goal. And so you just don't need a goalie, and just the score was that you hit the ball with the pole, you got to score. Yeah. So there was tons and tons of that kind of stuff. We didn't really mix the sports up too much. That was pretty much their main pastime. And there was a lot of work. Our family has the Italian deli in Highlandtown, Di Pasquale's. So I spent a lot of time working there at a young age on.
That sounds more difficult than regular soccer. You said you were trying to hit just a single pole.
A single pole, yeah.
Yeah, and as opposed to between two poles.
Exactly.
Sounds way
You had to hit
harder.
a single pole, but there'd be no goalie, so no one could use their hands, and you'd have to clear the ball before you could. Like, you'd have two different teams aiming at the same pole, but you couldn't just take the ball and shoot. You have to clear the ball back and then go forward.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it teaches skills. And the blacktop is not forgiving like a grass field. The blacktop is, yeah. And back in the day, there was not as much of the clean and green kind of stuff. So you had like broken bottles and glass, everything. It's just, it was awesome. Yeah.
Yowza. And you also said in there that you were working at the deli a little bit. How old were you when you started that?
12. 12 years old. Started working at the deli when I was 12.
Okay, that's amazing.
The first time. I got fired the first time because I was too young. I had to come back when I was 13. You couldn't even get a work permit when you were 12. You had to wait till you were 13 to get a work permit. And they were worried that a box would fall on me and I'd die or something. So they fired me.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's so heartbreaking.
It was devastating. And then I came back the next year, and then that was it.
It was
15 years later.
It was legal. Everything was
legal, or more legal at least.
Cool. So so you continued to work at the deli through high school?
Yes. 15 years. Yeah. So I started when I was 13. I left when I was 28.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. It was interesting because my high school was Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, and it's not a local school. You have to go on a bus to get to it, and it's people from all over the city go to the school, and it's about as far away you could possibly be and still be in the city. So every day is an hour and a half to 2 hours of bus just to go to school.
Dude.
It was either that or go to Patterson High School, which was not what I wanted to do, which was close by. But yeah, so I would take the 6 o'clock start every time, get on the bus. And if you were just a little bit late, you'd have to take 2 buses and transfer and this and that. And yeah, so it was tough. And it was tough, but having the job while going to school made you appreciate more each one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to keep your grades up or you'd lose your job, and then you didn't want to lose your job, so you kept your grades up. So it was a perfect combination.
Now, did you play soccer in high school too?
Yep, played soccer in high school. Did soccer and I did track.
Cool.
Yeah, it was the spring sport and a fall sport. I didn't do a winter sport.
What position did you play in soccer?
I was a midfielder. I was a midfielder. Yeah, I wasn't the scorer, and I wasn't the back defense. I was just the guy who could run the whole game without any issues, never get tired. Hence the track stuff too, the long distance track.
Yeah, and what did you do?
All long distance.
Okay.
800, 1600, 3000.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever go to states or anything?
The track team we did. Yeah, we were fantastic.
Wow.
Soccer team, we were not fantastic. We were the bottom of the barrel. We were like, Poly's not really known for soccer. Poly's known as a football school, like American football.
Okay.
And so all the funding and attention and everything went towards the football program. We got all the junk left over, whatever, secondary kind of thing. But, and then so all the good athletes wanted to play football, not soccer. So we just scraped by barely each year without getting kicked out of the division.
Cool.
Yeah.
So talk to me then about after high school in the restaurant business. Why'd you just knew that it was like what you wanted to do, or?
Well, it really, the restaurant business, it was more the deli business. So the restaurant stuff was a whole different creature. I never really understood, but the deli business, it was something that became like second nature. I could close my eyes and still do it. It was where I was best at, and it's all I knew because I was maybe one other job in my life, but the deli thing was, my passion. It was my upbringing, and that's what I knew. Mm-hmm. So when the time came and I was at a certain point, I couldn't really expand any further at the family deli. I had to kind of go out on my own and do my own, and that's what I did. So I stayed in the same mentality of, that's all I know is a deli. Let me just keep doing deli, and it was fun. It was great, but it was now after a while I realized, wait a minute, what am I doing? I don't need to do just this. I can do what I want to do. You get these mindsets that limit you, and they are self-limiting. You limit yourself. I used to wear pants and a shirt every day because I had to wear pants and a shirt every day. And then after I left the deli, and I'm like, wait a minute, I can do what I want to do. I can wear shorts and a t-shirt if I feel like it. But it's that self-limiting that you just kind of get rid of it, and then you just kind of unleash whatever's in there. It's
amazing.
Unleashed. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
When was the last time you wore pants?
Well, oddly enough, we had this nice woman in the neighborhood. She's an Asian lady. I helped her with some liquor issues, and she wanted, as a treat, to reward, she wanted to take me out to dinner, and she wanted to go to Oregon Grill, and she knows how I dress, and she did not ask me. She said, "You are wearing pants." So this is last week on Monday, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I said, like I said, I had no choice. So I actually had to go to a thrift store, and I found these black tight leather pants, and they were $5, and they fit perfect. And I said, game on. Here we go.
Oh, my God.
And I showed up, and she loved it. I loved it. The whole place loved it. And they were the most fun pants you're ever going to wear.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they felt great. And they came off. They sounded like a... It was like the leather and the sweat, everything stuck together. It was pretty wild.
Any idea before last Monday when the last time you had a pair on?
Yeah, it was. I perform a lot of wedding ceremonies.
Oh, right.
And
right.
the bride picks my outfit.
Okay.
So I had a bride. Usually people ask me to do their wedding. They're not picking me because I dress like a professional. They pick me because they like me. But a certain bride had asked me to wear pants, and I of course I honored that request. It was not black leather; it was like a suit pants. And then before that, I think we had an old chief of the liquor board. He was like 88-year-old guy, World War II vet, and he demanded all people wear pants in his courtroom, and so I did that for him too.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you actually came to Hampden. Like, how did you get here? What year was that?
Wow, it was just past the 10th anniversary last year, so it had been June of 2008. Yeah, so June of 2008. I had just finished doing the deli up in in Bel Air, in Falston. That's what it was, in Falston.
The one that I worked
at?
at?
Where you worked, exactly right. I had just left there. I was not in a happy way, and I was just in a bad mood. And I didn't know what I was going to do next. So I just kind of dug in and didn't really do anything. And one of our friends that worked there before, Brian, I don't know if you remember Brian.
I think
Little.
I do, yeah.
Brian Little.
Is he related to you?
Cousins by
Okay.
just like we call him cousins,
Okay.
yeah. But we know him all our lives. He was working with a person who opened up a pasta bar in Hampden.
Wow.
And my memories of Hampden were from when I was younger. It wasn't the same as it is now. It was a little beat up neighborhood. Things boarded up. Stuff wasn't really. And he kept saying, "Why don't you come down to Grano Pasta? Why don't you come down? Why don't you come down?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Hampden, go ahead. I really don't care." He said, "Just come in one day and see what you think. Just see what you think. Just come for one day." I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll come for one day." And we came in, and it was just that was over 10 years ago. I haven't left. It was magical. It was just like heavenly.
Amazing.
The people were just delightful. Everybody's having a great time. It's just like a childhood memory of what a neighborhood could be. It was, and is. Yeah, it was perfect.
And so you've really gotten to see the changes here in the last 10 years. Like,
Yes.
Why don't you talk a little bit about what you've noticed the most? Like, what's been going on here for the last 10 years?
The neighborhood itself, it became probably the greatest engine in the city that's not on the waterfront. In other words, the business district has people, everybody wants to open a shop here, a retail shop, bar, restaurant, services, because they know that the people that come here, they feel safe, they feel like they're still in the city, and they know they're going to have a great experience. So you could just see when I first came in, there's a lot of empty spots. There's no empty spots any longer. It's packed. Every inch, every spot, every commercial space is packed right away. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing sits dormant for more than a couple of weeks.
I would imagine it sounds like then there's even probably like a waiting list for businesses who want to
yeah,
come in.
yeah, definitely a waiting list. And you cannot buy commercial property anymore. There's a lot of stuff used to be for sale, but now there's nothing at all for sale, property wise, commercial wise.
Just rent.
Just rent.
Okay.
And then the way I see it, the shops come, and then people want to live close to shops, so people move to live close to a shop, and then people start moving, and they want to open more shops to support the more people. It's just up and up and up and up, and everybody just goes up and up and up and up, and there's no sign of it slowing down. I mean, there really is no sign of it slowing down. It's exciting to see. It's exciting to see some of the places that when I first got here, just a regular row house would be, say $60,000 or $70,000 when I first got here. Now they're like $400,000 for the same row house. It's just insane.
Yeah,
It's insane. It's amazing. It's amazing, but it's insane to see it. And there's people. I mean, I'm still new. I say I'm pretty new here, but there's people who've been third generation here, so they've even had more of the experience of the changes that come through. It's great. It's great. I mean, it's to me, it's a role model that can be replicated across the city, across the state, across the country, of how people live, work, and play together without any over supervision. Like you leave people alone. Generally speaking, they can control themselves. Generally speaking, but yeah.
Now, have you gotten to know some of those people you just talked about? Some of these third generation
Oh
people?
yeah, they're the best. They're the best. Yeah, there's a bunch of great old timers. They some of them, are a little skeptical, and then some just really embrace it. They embrace the change. They embrace the crazy change, and they must have realized at some point that it's a place worth staying for a reason, and everybody else is now catching on. That's exactly what they're doing. A few people don't get it, and they just move out, and they just live on a big farm somewhere, So, but I guess after a certain point, all the stuff you love can get on your nerves. I mean, when you're young or whatever, some people young mentally love all the activity all the time. But at a certain point, they're like, well, I want a little peace and quiet, and that's not going to happen here. Peace and quiet. That's not it. That's not what you're coming here for. So,
but for you still love it through and through.
Yes, but I have an amazing system in life. I'm really bad at balance. I can't do moderation. I'm always 11 or a 0. So I have this great system where every year, from right before Christmas until we just saw somebody hit another car, until right before April Fool's Day, I go to Ocean City, Maryland for the entire winter.
Yeah.
And I completely disconnect from reality. I don't have friends. I don't go out to eat. I don't drink alcohol. I do nothing but contemplate, wander on the beach, listening to your podcast, picking up seashells. And so it's my way of, because if I would be here year round every day, I would go insane. I would just go insane. It's just mentally, it's just so much happening. There's no easy way to disconnect while I'm here. So that's what I do. That's how I get away. That's why I do love the 9 months of craziness, but I also need that 3 months of disconnect.
That's awesome. Yeah, actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. Let me skip ahead here. So how long have you been taking your annual trips to Ocean City, and how does that help prepare you for the coming year?
Yes. We call it my sabbatical, my OC sabbatical. I think I started about 7 years ago, but it didn't start as a 3-month thing. About 7 years ago, it started as like less than a month, but more than 2 weeks. And we have family who have a place down there, and they would go to Miami for the winters. And no one else really seemed like they were excited to go down and use the space. So I had pretty much basically a free place to stay. And I started finding myself wanting to spend more and more time there. So the 2-3 weeks turned into a month, turned into a month and a half, and then that's it. 3 months blown now, and that's it. And it gives me the chance to just, like I said, just get myself mentally prepared from the knowing that I'm going to have 9 months of craziness coming. So it gives me that chance just to get everything geared up and my batteries stored up and just come back home with just full of energy and life and enthusiasms. Because by November I get pretty unbearable for everybody, and I understand I'm unbearable, and they understand that I'm unbearable too. So it's a thing right around November, December. I know my time is coming, and I just need to get away.
It's kind of like pushing the button on Lost, it sounds like.
Yeah, hey, brother. It is. It really is. And again, like I said, I call it my OC sabbatical. I need it in life. I need it in life. If I was better at balance, I guess I could do the same thing here by taking off weekends, I guess. But I don't do that. I just work. I work or not work. Whatever I'm doing, I do it every day. There's no weekend.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I respect that. So I know that this is a community you like to give back to a lot. Tell me about some of the first opportunities you had to really, when you first moved in, ways you started giving back to the community.
I remember one of my big first memories. It was early on, and the city had repaved our whole 36th Street. It was all repaved. But they never came back to repaint crosswalks. And there's a crosswalk going to the school. There's an intersection going towards the school that had a crosswalk and it was gone. And I just remember a crossing guard, a school crossing guard said, "Hey, what can you do? Can you help us out? They haven't repainted it. Do you know anybody to call or whatever?" And I'm thinking about it. We can just do it ourselves. So I remember, I tracked down some people who had some of the equipment I needed. There was a striper and the vertical paint, and I researched the dimensions you're supposed to use and the DOT's guidelines. And in the middle of the night, one night, had a bottle of Sambuca and just knocked that sucker out. And at one point, the police came. And I'm like, guys, if you want me to stop, I'll stop. They said, no, you keep finishing. They laughed. They didn't finish it. And sure enough, we finished it up. The next day, a crew from the city came out with the official equipment and actually painted the real lines over mine because we we had embarrassed the city into doing it themselves.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the local councilwoman, they did a little article about it, and they asked the councilwoman, like, you think he should get some fines, or should he get in trouble for doing that? And because somebody at the DOT said he should get some fines, and I should get fines. She's like, no, maybe we'll give him a little award, actually.
Oh my
Like
God.
that. So it was great. So we saw those city trucks come out, and I talked to one of the supervisors. They said, yeah, that city councilwoman said, do not leave here until this job is done. They didn't care. They just had to do it just to save a little bit of face.
Wow.
That was my first big memories of something that I could do to try to help whatever I could do.
Oh, I remember that story.
Yeah.
I was hoping you would share that one.
Yeah,
actually. That's great.
That was one of my favorite early memories.
So, are there any other events or traditions here that you started?
I didn't start them, but I was one of the starting members of the toilet races.
Okay.
So every year there's a festival called Hampden Fest, as you can see on my nice shirt here.
Oh, that's a great shirt.
And it's the second or third Saturday of every September, and we have a pretty steep hill on Chestnut off the side of the main drag. And this guy Steve Baker had this brilliant idea to do like a kinetic race, where the rules are you had to have a toilet or any other receptacle for urination or defecation mounted to wheels, and no pedaling or anything, but it had to be able to steer and had to have brakes, and you had to be hurtling down the hill at breakneck speeds, and the first person down goes forward to the next round. The second person goes back home. And it was amazing. It was amazing. So this will be our 10th anniversary of doing that. This September, the 10 years of toilet races.
I think I'd
love
like
that.
to come see. I'd
You
like to
would
maybe
lo-
come take some pictures.
It's a blast, and it's very photographical because
believe
people
it.
have an amazing costume. Everyone puts so much effort and detail into their costuming, into the racers themselves. I think last year we had almost 30 different race teams.
No kidding.
It's an amazing event. It's an amazing event, and it looks like when you're out on that racetrack, you look down, it's just thousands of people as far as you can see all the way down, like 6 deep. It's incredible. It's a really cool feeling. You feel like a rock star, superstar athlete.
Nice. I should be around.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So there was some talk of a bowling alley at one point. Did that ever happen?
It's funny you brought that up. Actually, we restarted the conversation last night.
Oh, wow.
And we ended up going back into the bowling alley last night again.
Okay.
So it's looking more and more alive. It's underneath the this old antique shop called David's Antiques. When I say old antique, it's not an antique shop anymore.
Okay.
Not that the antiques are old, but they have this awesome underground duck pin lanes, 8 lanes, never mechanized. It was always pin setters. It's been dormant since the 60s.
Wow.
And we just met last night. I don't think I even mentioned that to you. I had that
No.
meeting about last night at 5 o'clock, and we all got we met with the owner of the building and the contractor, and everybody was so enthusiastic. We ended up being there a couple hours later, just hanging out in these old lanes and just soaking it in. It's incredible. It's incredible. As we get further along, hopefully I can give you a tour of the place. It's fascinating.
What's like the vision? Run me through like what it's gonna have.
So it'll stay unmechanized. So duck pin bowling is very big in this area. It's going to have the most entertaining bar because you're going to have 8 different lanes of bowling happening while you're having a drink and you're watching everybody bowl and have a good time. And we want to keep as much of the original flair as possible. When you're down in this basement, it's about maybe an 8 or 10 foot ceiling, tin ceiling, and beautiful brick walls and hardwood floors plus the lanes. It's just a natural beauty from like a throwback era. You walk down, it's underground, so you have to walk down these deep steps underneath the cage to get to it.
No kidding.
And it's gonna be outstanding. It's something interactive, something fun for all. It's gonna be a blast. It is my dream project. It's my dream project.
Do you have a name in mind for it?
No, not yet.
What about like food and drinks? Will that be available?
Drinks definitely. The food we're working on that component now, but definitely it's because of the system of the way the place is set up. You're not moving people in and out really quickly bowling when you're setting the pins.
I see.
So we want to make it something that's a little more like a bar atmosphere too, so you can have some drinks and relax and watch other people do stuff. You know, so that's a critical part of the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else are you working on?
Well, I got a big one. So this past June was my 10th anniversary of coming to Hampden. And I announced I'm running for Mayor of Baltimore City.
Fantastic.
And this is not going to turn political at all, trust me.
No, it's fine.
And
Let it rip.
we are all, this past winter sabbatical, I did a lot of deep thinking and organizing, and we launched the campaign the 29th of April, which is 2 Mondays away.
Wow.
And we were going to hit the entire city, go to every neighborhood, introduce ourselves, show them what we got, and we're gonna hopefully get put to work. My goal is to be put to work by every neighborhood organization just to show what we can do, and we work it together. Our other goal is to raise $0.0 for our campaign. We don't want to raise a single penny for the campaign. I don't mind if an organization wants to raise money and use me as the whatever fundraising, but our campaign wants to start with $0.0, and my treasurer is going to have the most boring job in the history of treasurer, and I'm gonna really enjoy every time he's got to sign a report saying we raised $0.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's gonna be outstanding. It's gonna be outstanding.
What and so then if you what are some other like milestones for the race? Because I'm not really tuned into all that.
The election is the primary election is April of 2020.
Okay.
So there are, at least generally speaking, 2 major debates that have not yet been scheduled because we're 1 year out. Mm-hmm. But generally speaking, you'll have 2 major debates, one for TV and one for radio. And of course, the milestones are kind of your own milestones, which, what neighborhoods you hit and this and that. But there are no other, there's nothing else in the registration. It's got to be in by February of next year, stuff like that, stupid little stuff. But the big thing is the primary date is just very important to remember that, April 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hooked up in the presidential cycle. So the same day you vote for the president, you vote for the mayor of Baltimore City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you've met a lot of people. You've helped a lot of people. I think a lot of people will turn up to support you too.
I hope that that you're right. What I do brings me into the heart of the city every day. Mm-hmm. I get to go to City Hall and all the permanent offices around City Hall to help people. So I get to meet people from all over the city. That's the hub. Everybody who's got to do stuff has to go there to do their stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's a great opportunity to meet people outside your normal neighborhood, because everybody has different things that they want and need, and what every challenge in this neighborhood is an advantage in another neighborhood. So it's been I've been very fortunate to get to already meet people from all over the city.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you've helped a lot of people here like start their own businesses, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So what exactly is involved in that?
It depends on the level of what they need, but what I try to do is this. Say a guy is a pizza maker.
Okay.
He's not a business opener. He's a pizza maker. So I tell him, you make the pizza, and let me take care of the inspections. Let me take care of the licensing. Let me take care of all the permitting, anything that goes into opening a business that you really shouldn't have to think about. Mm-hmm. Let me take care of that, and you concentrate on making pizzas. And so I'll help people right from the very beginning, to finding a location, to signing a lease, helping them find employees, help them find financing, find tables and chairs, equip everything from that. And then anytime you need to have a hearing for the city to approve this or that, I'll take care of that with them. And it's a great fun process. It's almost like giving birth to a baby, and then you come and visit your baby every week. You get to see how it's growing. Mm-hmm. This location here, we did the kitchen when they initially opened up. That was our project, and that'll be their 10th anniversary is coming up, the 13.5 Wine Bar. And so it's great to come back and see how it changes and evolves. Even though you're not active with it any longer, you still know that you helped give birth to it. It's a great experience.
It looks incredible, and I'm going to be honest with you. I only just now saw all these bottles of wine right here.
Yes.
I was so busy getting set up, I didn't even notice that. There's
the wine
like
wall.
100 bottles of wine on this wall.
Yeah, it's incredible. So you can buy to go, or if you want it for here, there's a $10 fee, and they just open it right for you. It's perfect. It's really neat. It's a great experience here.
Cool. So, now going back to the mayor thing for a second, any other no political experience leading up to this? Or?
I ran for city council when I was a kid. It was just something I wanted to try. But it was a very strange year where they had just changed the laws and redistrict. It was a confusing year, and I didn't really. I did it as an experience just to do, and I knew one day I was going to do it, and I wanted on a bigger scale. But no, never. No, I despise politics. I really do. I hate politics. I hate all that kind of stuff. I just love Baltimore. And when I was a young boy, we had a Mayor Schaefer, William Donald Schaefer was our mayor, and he was like inspirational. Mm-hmm. And he's the same kind of thing. He wasn't really a politician. He just loved Baltimore. Mm-hmm. He just loved it, and he just did everything he could possibly do to make it so that when he left to the next generation, it would be better and better and better, and just keep growing it. And so he inspired me. And he was not a polished individual whatsoever. He wasn't this or that. He was just a guy. And so that always stuck with me. And here we are now. I'm just a guy trying to follow in his footsteps.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
There's even a great picture somebody just sent me from, looked like from 1970s. He apparently, I didn't know this, had an adult-sized tricycle with a basket in the back to ride people around. There's a picture of him pedaling somebody around in the back of an adult-sized tricycle. I'm like, this is destiny. I mean, how many people have adult-sized tricycles? And how many of those people have pedaled somebody around? And how many of those people will run for mayor? So that's a very small subset. I think there's both of us. That's it. It's amazing.
Pretty out
Blew
there.
my mind.
Pretty
Blew my
out
mind.
there.
Yeah.
How did you get your tricycle originally? Where'd you get it from?
The first batch, there's 2 levels of trikes. The first batch were the same guy who invented the toilet races. Mm-hmm. He got this blowout clearance deal from Target warehouse. And he bought, I think, like 20 of these unassembled trikes. He bought them for $50. He assembled them. He'd sell them for $200. And they were very fashionable looking. Not the most durable, but they were fun and they were fashionable. So they were already here. That was the first one I had. Actually, I had 2 of those, a blue one and a red one. The same guy loves cruising auction sites, and he found an auction when they were closing up Sparrows Point, the steel mill at Sparrows Point. Uh-huh. They had industrial strength Workman brand tricycles that they used in the steel mill because the mills were blocks long, and it was safer than getting something motorized. But they could handle like 800 pounds, 600 pounds. So really, really made to be worked with. And the auction, we ended up bidding on them, and I think it was another lot, about 20, and they came to like $20 each. But we had to do like 3 trips to move them back and forth. But so that was the big push. That was the big push, and that there's still about 5 of them left in the neighborhood from that phase. Wow. And they're the ones that you see because they're really built to last a long time. The other Target ones, they last a year or 2, and they start getting a little rinky-dinky. But the Workman trike was built solid, nice. solid.
And I think a lot of the people that know you well already know the whole story of how your trike got stolen and how it got returned. But for the people who are not familiar, would you like to tell that story?
Oh, goodness. If you look slightly to your right, you can see where the scene of the crime happened. It happened literally right out our window. And it was Memorial Day week, and I always lock my trike in the same spot. It's right across from one of my shops that I work. And I remember coming looking for my trike one day. I'm like, I maybe put it somewhere else because it wasn't where I usually left it. And I looked all over the place. I said, man, I really can't find it. Maybe something really happened. And so I walked to where I usually put it. I looked up, and part of the renovations for the Hampden Family Center was brand new security cameras, high definition, 1080p. And it was focused right on the trike. So I said, when you get a chance, would you take a look through your cameras and see? A half hour later, she said, get over here right away. And it is the most amazing movie. The kid came dressed like a city worker. He had a lanyard. He had a work vest. And it was like maybe 5 or 6 a.m. on Memorial Day Monday. And he was so professional. It was the most brilliant thing ever. He came, he looked, he left. He came back with bolt cutters. He snipped right through it, cut the bolt off, threw all the stuff in the back of the trike, and then took off.
Wow.
And it just so happened that it was on these brand new. If it had never been on film, I would have thought I just lost it. So that story, that film, I put on my Facebook feed, and then the news media picked up on it. And then it circulated. And then people start checking their footage. At that point, we had a timestamp. They have footage of the guy driving it through neighborhood, all the way up 41st Street, over the 44th Street. So it was amazing. So then we put it on Reddit. So Reddit, people started tracking him. You'd see him pop up all over different neighborhoods, giving people rides, having a good time. And people were like, we had like 8 different sightings. And had a little pin push map that we're trying to triangulate and this and that. It was the most fun. That was for the first couple days. And then it just went dark, completely silent. And like, uh-oh. So a few weeks go by, and the police say, "Hey, guess what? We have it," and they returned it, and it was in better shape than I gave it up. The kid had pumped the tires up, cleaned it up, and this and that, and I actually had the opportunity to meet him months later, and he said, "I gotta apologize. My mom told me better than this. I never should have done it." And he said, "Furthermore, I had no idea how much attention this would have gotten me." I said, "No, man, I know. They're pretty fun. They're pretty fun." And no, he had a good time with it, and nobody got hurt.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings, and he had some good times giving people delivery rides on it. But the story spread everywhere. On my trip to Italy, I had a couple like Italian distant cousins. They're talking, and my other cousins who speak Italian were talking with them, and they started laughing, and they said, "Did you have a famous bike stolen?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's us. It was me in Italy." It was crazy. They had their local news.
That's unbelievable.
Like one of their stupid human interest stories. I guess like the whole Pee Wee Herman stolen bicycle based on the Alamo connection. I don't know.
Isn't there also an old Italian movie called The Bicycle Thief?
Bicycle Thief, yeah. Classic.
Nice.
Yeah. No, it's fun being recognized by an adult three-wheeler. It's great.
So what's your current favorite place to get a bite to eat here? And I understand that this
Who's your
change.
favorite child? It's like you can't, like I said, there's a lot of, or like, I feel like my babies. Wow, that's a really difficult question, but outside of the neighborhood is even a difficult question. I would say, no, it's tough. That's a tough question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can think about it and come back to it. Although, unfortunately, the next question is almost identical.
Where's your least favorite spot to go?
No, it's favorite drink. Favorite place to stop in and get a drink.
Wow, that is every place. I have very limited tastes. I'm very simple, and anything that's bubbly and cold and in a coffee mug, I'm all in.
What are you drinking right now?
Bubbly and cold is gone in a coffee mug. This is like Prosecco or something. If I'm not drinking bubbly cold, I'm drinking Molinari Sambuca.
Okay.
So there's stashes of Molinari Sambuca and cold bubbles throughout the city that I have just different random places. There's one that's 3 blocks. It used to be around the corner from the old liquor board, and that was the best because there's nothing like a liquor board hearing that makes you want to have a little liquor. So we used to be able to just walk around there and just go right now. I have to walk 3 blocks to get to my Sambuca. Yeah,
that's amazing. It seems like you've set it up, so that wherever you are, you can kind of just duck right in. You already know somebody.
Yes.
I have a memory of walking down the street with you years ago.
Yeah.
And I said something like, I could really go for an espresso right now. And I'm not kidding. Like, we made a right turn and went inside, and you got us some espresso.
Yeah.
You knew the person and everything.
It's the best. This community is the best, and you have it all like figured out and where you need to go for whatever you need, and you can find it here. It's whatever it is, you can just find it here. It's a great feeling.
Is there ever a single day where you don't see somebody you know here?
No, not here. No, not here. Like I said, that's what Ocean City is for. I don't know anybody there. I don't make friends. On my last trip, a friend of a friend reached out to me. He said, "You help my friends back in Baltimore with some permit stuff. I have something in Ocean City." I said, "Well, I'm going to stop you right there, sir. I don't think you understand. That's why I am in Ocean City, to get away from all that." He said, "It's just a zoning hearing." I said, "Sir, please, you're wasting your breath. Here's the best advice I can give you. Now, never call me again." No, but here now, it's,
No, I respect your ability to set boundaries like that. It sounds like you said, it's part of your system.
It's part of my system. I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. But here, I'm 24/7. There, not so much.
So you don't get what's an average night of sleep for you here?
Probably 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, about 4 hours.
That's like hard to do. I feel like consistently.
If it's been like an extra long night, I can also I'm pretty good at slipping in that little 45 to 55 minute nap.
Okay.
So I can do that at around the 2 o'clock time. But generally speaking, I'm super early riser all the time. I've always been an early riser, and as the days get longer, so I feel great, So, but
you just get up and get after it, huh?
Get up and get after it.
Awesome. Is there anyone that you want to give a little shout out to right now? Anyone that you've helped recently?
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Nice.
Hi, Mr. Shlomo Treasurer.
Fantastic.
I'm trying to think. Our newest thing. I went to look at a place today. They're opening in Lauraville area, Harford Road.
Mm-hmm.
Chard Pizza. CHARD Pizza. The place is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And it's a nice bike ride. I can't wait for them to get them. They seem like very passionate people. Place looks wonderful. So that's fun. It's always fun when you first meet somebody because everything's possible then, you don't have any preconceived notions. Everything's possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be that really like inspiring part of what you do, seeing the genesis.
Yeah. You were there when that little spark hit, and then it sparked this big fire all of a sudden. And it's like, yes, this is great.
Mm. And then most of the places here you've helped are all doing well right now?
Yeah,
or?
everybody's crushing it, and everybody's crushing it. We have a guy that we've helped to a couple locations, and now he's about to open up the first freestanding shipping container to convert it into a snowball stand.
Okay.
Yeah, the owner of the food market. He owns a couple other things that he's done, and now starting next week, he'll have a beautiful shipping container, and it's converted into a snowball stand.
Oh,
It's gorgeous.
I
It's
definitely
neat.
would like to see that.
Yeah, it's really, really neat. It's right across the street from his main location. And the inspector loved inspecting it. He even called some other inspectors to come see how cool this is. You know, it's because it's not really done very often. And it was like, perfect. He loved it. It's something different.
Is there anything you think Hampden is missing? Anything you'd like to see here?
Other than the duck pin bowling, that's what is missing. Yeah, duck pin bowling is going to be huge. And, we want to find a venue to do live music entertainment.
Beautiful.
Like a nice music event.
Beautiful.
We've been hearing some discussions. I've been trying to give some advice, and it's early on, but we think we have an old theater up the street that they're proposing to do as a live theater now. It's the old Ideal Theater about 2 blocks away. It still has the original stage, this and that. It's a really massive room, but it's the perfect spot to have live music because it was an old vaudeville stage even before movie times.
Is it being used for anything right now?
No, not now. I mean, yes, it's being used for dance lessons, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not. Not to its potential yet. But when that happens, I think that's a big missing piece. There's so many amazing artists in Hampden, but you have to go outside the neighborhood, even though it's not that far out of it. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that's missing in this neighborhood.
Yeah. And I feel like, sounds like with your experience and the stuff you do, you'd be the perfect person because I guess when you bring in a concert venue, you have to worry about like noise regulation and what time of night people can play music till and everything. So it's like you got all that covered.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we're gonna what I've heard so far is parking. People get parking. So. So we tried a solution a couple years ago with a different, like a modified valet system, but it didn't really pick up. So now we're going to try and maybe propose a shuttle system where we'll find an off the main path parking lot that's not being used. People know they can park there for $5. They can ride the shuttle all day. It takes 10 minutes to circulate, 15 minutes to circulate the neighborhood. So if you park, you don't have to wait more than 10, 15 minutes, and you don't have to worry about parking or this or that, and it's perfect. So that's we're gonna try that next. That'll help alleviate some of the issues that people might have with a venue of that style where everybody comes at one time. So.
Oh, the ideas just keep coming.
Yeah.
Cool. So I've pretty much asked all my questions. Let's just give the people something like personal about you. If you want to talk about any other like hobbies, interests, anything, a lot of people see you day to day. They know that this one level of you. Is there anything you want to share just about like I said, interest or hobbies that's a little more personal that might surprise people?
If you see me bicycling because I want to, everybody that sees me bicycling said, "Do you need a ride? Do you need a ride?" Like, thank you, but no, I love biking. It's been one of my rediscovering passions that I lost a long time too. I really enjoy getting up early Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. and watching soccer while drinking Sambuca. It's a passion. I just love it. It's awesome.
Do you get to play still?
No. Other than FIFA on the PS3 that I still have, the 2008 version, something. But no, I really I kick the ball around a little bit, but it's something that I feel like I want to do more, but I need to be better to do it more. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so it's a shame because we have 2 great locations here that have pickup games every Saturday and Sunday. So it's just walk on, you come in and you go on the next team. It could be like 20 on 20. And it's just, I guess I'm too particular to just walk on and look like a fool. So yeah. Let's just call it look like a fool. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Without a doubt.
And any other last messages you want to give out to the people about your upcoming mayoral candidacy?
Yeah, you can find everything's already under Mayor Catelli on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, which I'm not going to use, and a website, mayorlucatelli.com. So make sure you get registered to vote before February 2020, and make sure you vote April in 2020.
Okay, fantastic. Hey, you want to go get a bite to eat?
And a drink. Yeah. My mug's been empty for the last... I should have reloaded ahead of time. What was I thinking?
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Talk to you soon.
See you, bro.